In the previous lecture, we reviewed how to add in an icon, a shape, as well as a box. Now, these aren't elements that you have to have on your website, but what I would recommend having on your website is what we're going to review in this lecture, which is adding in a link as well as a button. Now, links and buttons typically will lead an individual to another section or to another element of your website. So it can link to another document, it could link to another website, it could link to another page, or it could even link to another part of the same page, which is called an anchor. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can add a link. The most common link to add in is a typical hyperlink inside of text. So, for instance, let's say I have something in the paragraph that says view here. You've already provided a description, so then you're wanting to add the option to go somewhere else. I click view here. I'll then highlight the wording, and then under text settings, because as I'm in the text box, there's a pop-up, I can click on link. And what I'm doing is I'm linking the view here somewhere else. The first thing I can do is I can link it to another page. I can also link it to an anchor, which essentially are opportunities to link it to another section on the same page. This is something you find on landing pages, and I will definitely get into that a little bit later in another lecture. You can link it to a web address, which of course you can enter in that web address, such as google.com. I always recommend, if you're going to an external website, have it open in a new window, which means the current window you're in stays open and a new tab opens, which goes to this destination here. You can link it to an email, a phone number, a document. You can link it to the top or bottom of the page, and then you can link it to a light box, which is a pop-up. And I will also get to that in another lecture. But most commonly, you'll link to a page, an email, or another website. So what I'll do is I'll link it to google.com, and then I'll click on done. Once I'm done, as you can see here, that link inside of the text is underlined, and that is my hyperlink. So what I'll do then is I'll click on preview, and then I'll click on view here, and as you can see, it linked directly to google.com, which is fantastic. Now, going back to the editor, inside of your Wix website, there are many opportunities to link different elements to different links. So an example is I can click on the logo and I can click on link. I can link this logo. I can also click on an icon, which is, where here is an arrow, and I can also link that. So let's say if I wanted to link the arrow to, let's say, the bottom of the page, I could have it click right here on bottom and click done. Then when I go to preview and I click on the arrow right here, it goes automatically to the bottom of the page. It works quite similar to an anchor, which is where it drops to a specific point on the page. The only difference is when you're linking the top to bottom, it goes all the way to the top or all the way to a bottom. But with an anchor, it could, let's say, link to a specific point on this page. And that's best described once again in the landing page lecture. I'll go back to editor. I will now review how you can add in a button. Buttons are quite common because they give the user an opportunity to click on something that stands out, and it takes them to another destination. So I'll click on add. I'll then go to button, and I can add in a variety of different types of buttons. Or, of course, I can just click on the button right here, which is the one that goes with my theme. And if I do want to change the design, I can click on the design icon, and I can go through the process of clicking on custom design, and I can change the background as it is. I could change the hover color, which is what is going to show up when I hover over it. I can click on text and change the text color when it's hovered, and the regular color as well, and of course the font. Once I'm done editing the button visually, I can then click on link, and I can have it link wherever I'd want it to go. What I'll do this time is I'll have it linked to the about page. I'll click on done, and then there's that button right there under the column. Now, buttons are really great on your website for if you want an individual to learn more. So I'll click again on this button, and I'll change the text to learn more. So let's say if on this page I had a service, I could make it say service 1, and then I could have it here to say service 2. And what's ultimately happening is I'm listing ultimately everything I have for my services, and then I'm giving the user the opportunity to click on learn more if they want to learn more about a particular service. This way, as I mentioned previously, you're not overwhelming the user with too much text. You're giving them just a snippet, and then if they want to learn more, they can do that. So what I'll do now is I'll click on copy, I'll click on paste, and then there's another button. That's always very friendly. You can do Control-C, Control-V, which is copy, paste, keyboard command, or you can right-click, copy, right-click, paste, and then there's that button. However you copy and paste, that will work best. And then there you go. You have your buttons added in. You have this arrow that's linking to google.com, and you have these buttons that are linking to the individual pages where a user needs to go. Now, the last thing that we're going to be adding in are social icon links. Now, we added it in the header as well as we added it in the footer, but to get a bit further into it, for the depth purpose of understanding the full extent of what you can do with social media, I'll do that. I'll click on add right here. I'll click on social, and then you can see all of the options provided for linking to social media. Now, these are live feeds, which means that different snippets of the live website will show up. Some people don't want to have it show up. Let's say you might not want to have Pinterest, this big box here. So most commonly, individuals will stay right in the social bar area, and then you'll add in a social bar. So you'll click on that, and then by default, all of these icons show up right here. And then what you can do is click on layout to either decrease the size of the icons, increase the size of the icons, and then the spacing, you can bring it in or you can spread it out to make it a little bit further apart, which looks great. And then last but not least, you can go back to layout and you can make it vertical or horizontal. Now, this looks great vertically, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pick up the social bar and I'm going to drag it all the way up to my banner. So what I give the users the ability to do now is click on my social media right when they first arrive to the website and they see it on my banner. So the next thing I'll do is I'll click on set social links. And when I click on any of these, it's giving me the opportunity to edit the link. I just click right here on add a link, and I can add in the actual link to where it needs to go. So if it's Pinterest, you could put in Pinterest, whatever the URL is. Going back to, let's say, YouTube, I could click on add link, and I could put in YouTube, whatever the link is. And then that's how I add my link. To change how the icon looks, I click directly on the icon, let's say for Facebook, and I can click on replace icon, and then I can go to the Facebook category, and I can select between these icons here. I can select on ultimately what looks best. Now, if you don't see something that you want here, you can click on upload images, and you can upload any icon that you might have found online that you want to use instead. But by default, you're always going to see these here. Once you're happy with what you have, I can go right back to what I had before. I'll click on choose image, and then it shows up. For Twitter, I can replace that icon as well. I'll go to Twitter, and let's say I decide I want to put in this white icon. I can select that and choose image, and then there I go. Now, to delete something out of the social bar, you hover, and you can click on remove image, and it gets rid of the icon. So let's say I don't want Facebook or Google or YouTube. I can, of course, just get rid of those, and then all I have to do then is make sure that I have the right icons for what's left. And of course, I'm just going through the process of finding the right category and swapping out my icons. And then, of course, I'm done. I've added my links, I've changed visually what I need to, and then I've deleted what I don't need, and then I'm done. Then, what you see here is my social bar listed right here, just like I want it. It's a vertical menu, it looks great, and it's right here on the home page. So now you know how to add in hyperlinks, a button, and how to add in your social bar.